Today I'm cooking two fabulously simple recipes using watercress. Now, watercress isn't just for salads, and it's not just a bit on the side. It works as a wonderful ingredient, and today what we're using it for is some watercress and pine nut egg cups and a watercress pesto for spaghetti. So first, for the watercress and pine nut egg cups, I've got a 12-hole muffin tin, about an inch deep, and I'm going to brush each hole with extra virgin olive oil. So I've got some polenta here, and this step isn't strictly necessary, but it goes a long way towards preventing the egg cups from sticking to the pan, and it also gives a lovely grainy texture to the egg cups when they're cooked. So I'll just sprinkle a little bit inside each muffin hole and kind of spread it around the sides a little bit. 2 tablespoons for the whole muffin pan. And now for my watercress. I've got a lovely bunch of fresh watercress, about 100 grams. Chop the leaves and the stems, the whole lot. So now for my egg mixture. Try and use the best quality eggs that you can afford. Ideally organic, certainly free range. They taste so much better than ordinary eggs. To that, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of plain wheat flour. If you're making this for a gluten-free person, you could always use rice flour. Also, a pinch of sea salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Whisk that all together well. So next I'm going to add 150 grams of full-fat cottage cheese, not the non-fat type. Cottage cheese is still low-fat, even if it's full-fat. A couple of spring onions, fairly finely chopped, and then the watercress. Just stir that together till it's well blended. So I'll just distribute this mixture as evenly as possible in all 12 muffin holes. Don't fill them completely to the top. Leave a little bit of space, so they should be about 2/3 to 3/4 full. And now for the pine nuts. Just going to sprinkle a little bit on top of each egg cup. This adds crunch and protein and deliciousness. Now these get popped into a 200-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. So now for the watercress pesto spaghetti. You can make this in the time it takes you to cook the spaghetti, about 10 minutes. I've just popped the spaghetti in the boiling water, very well salted water. And first I'm going to make some marinated cherry tomatoes, which will be the final crowning glory for this platter of spaghetti. So I've got 16 cherry tomatoes cut in half. Season those with a little sea salt, some black pepper, and the best possible balsamic vinegar you can get your hands on. Nice drizzle all over the tomatoes, and a good couple of handfuls of fresh basil. Oh, it smells heavenly. Okay, finally, just a dribble of olive oil, and I'll stir that all together. So now for the watercress pesto. First of all, a couple of small cloves of garlic. I'm just going to bung those in the food processor first and run the motor so that the garlic definitely gets nicely chopped up first. And now for my watercress. I have another 100 grams, and this I'm really just going to roughly chop. And you know, of all the vegetables out there, watercress is the most nutrient dense of all of them. It is numero uno, the most nutritious vegetable you can eat. So get more watercress in you, however you can possibly manage it. So I'm going to cram that watercress into the food processor and add about 20 grams of grated fresh Parmesan cheese, about a half a teaspoon of lemon zest, and then about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. if you have one of these fine graters, it works very well as a sieve. And you could use pine nuts if you wanted to make a more classic flavor of pesto, but I'm going to use some raw cashew nuts, about 50 grams. And then season this with some sea salt and black pepper. Now we're gonna whiz this into a pesto and finally add some olive oil as it's mixing. It smells divine. And very important, have a taste, just to make sure you have the seasoning right. Delicious. It's got that wonderful peppery watercress flavor and the lemon tastes superb. So just stir that watercress pesto through the cooked spaghetti. So just get that thoroughly combined and transfer it to a nice big platter. Finally, we're gonna crown that with those marinated tomatoes we made earlier. So there you have it, watercress pesto spaghetti, all done in 10 minutes. So now it's time to check on those egg cups. You can just use a butter knife to run around the edges and loosen each one of the egg cups. And then lift it out. These watercress and pine nut egg cups go beautifully with a little bit of plain Greek yogurt on the side. So 2 simple and quick watercress recipes. Give them a go. I hope you enjoy them.